Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come
Yay! Hello, everyone. I am Tom Luce, if you didn't know. And I would like to welcome everyone to the Berkeley Fellowship of Unitarian Universalists. We are a part of a free religious tradition that honors the loving heart, the open mind, and growing together within the beloved community. Please silence your cell phones. If you have any announcements, please write them down and give them to Jeff over there at the AV corner. If you would like to write in the Book of Joys and Sorrows, it is over here on your left, my right, on the table, Joys and Sorrows. Our fellowship stands on land that is today called Berkeley, California, located in the stolen territory of the Ohlone people. We honor them today and always for their wisdom and resilience. For our member spotlight today, if you haven't heard of that, that's something we do every so often. I didn't remember it myself, but it's when from time to time we have members come up and share with us something of their story and what's on their heart. Today, Grant Thompson, they didn't have his last name on here, Grant Thompson will speak. Thank you, Grant.
Hey, this will be real fast, and my apology to those of you who've heard it before. I grew up in Wilmington, North Carolina, and we were religiously unusual in Wilmington, North Carolina, because we were fourth-generation Baha'is. So I'm just curious, no pressure, but how many people, maybe raise your hand if you've heard of or are vaguely familiar with the Baha'i faith? I'm just curious. Oh, okay, that's more than I thought. I didn't become a Baha'i, and I didn't really think of myself as religious, but I think a lot of things from the Baha'i faith that I thought of as sort of common sense actually came from that faith and our get-togethers. And it has some similarities. I don't want to go on at length, and I'm not a good spokesperson for it, but great emphasis on unity, and that all the religions teach essentially the same thing, which is be humble and be kind and try to love and help your neighbor. And whatever helps make that happen and helps people find a God is all to the good, basically, I think they would say. And always one of my favorite expressions that they would say is if a religion is causing conflict and disunity, well, it's not doing its job. You should just abolish that religion. Anyway, and then, most of my adult life, I didn't think of myself as very religious. As I've gotten older and you go through life some, and my kids are away at college now, I think I've become a little more humble and a little more respectful, and not just respectful, but feeling like there's more to life in the world than what you can see and touch, and more appreciative of the feeling of awe and of a feeling of love and things like that. And then just briefly, more concretely, it was actually, I thought it was kind of fortunate how I came here. I came to a Know Your Rights thing that Betty put on. And at that time, I wasn't thinking about going to church of any kind. I wasn't like on the hunt. But I had been thinking about, I have some more time now. The world's a mess. And I need to be more sociable because I'm just so busy peddling with kids and work. I just didn't have a large friend group. And so I kind of had that kicking around in my mind. And then I actually read this book also, which I'm going to leave on the table there, Lest Innocent Blood Be Shed. And it's an interesting book about this religious community in a village, or rather a village that was mostly Protestant, that sheltered thousands of Jewish children during the Nazi occupation. And so I kind of had that kicking around my head. I was sitting back there and I thought, oh, well, I should come here. And so that's what I did, and I've really enjoyed it, and I'm really appreciative of this space. So thank you.
Grant Thompson. Remember his name and kiss him when you meet him. Grant Thompson. Thank you so much, Grant. We are very pleased to have with us today Darlene Pagano. Darlene Pagano. She's been with the emerging congregation Live Oak UU Fellowship in Alameda. I'll say that again. Live Oak UU Fellowship in Alameda. She's been there 16 years when it was founded. As your fellowship knows, this means that everything about us is done by us, U.S. A compulsive volunteer and not interested in recovering, she has held multiple positions in the congregation, including being one of the earliest worship leaders. In addition to having Live Oak Fellowship as an anchor for her fundamentally religious naturalist spirituality, Darlene has long oriented her life around radical feminism and came to Oakland in 1975 to live at the heart of what she believed to be the progressive political center of the country. Well, that wasn't exactly true. Oakland has been the organizing heart of her life ever since. Since retiring, she immediately became involved with KPFA. You all know that, KPFA. Going through their apprenticeship program and became a producer, joined the local station board as a staff representative, and now sits on the national board of the Pacifica Radio Foundation. Darlene will bring us the opening words. Okay, I guess what I'm supposed to do now is get lighting our chalice. So, folks, you who are at home now, please light your own chalice or candles while we light this communal chalice for all of us, a symbol of our tradition and the spirit that lives within every one of us. Please read with me our unison chalice lighting, which can be found in the order of service. Let love be the spirit of this congregation and service its goal. This is our living covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truths in life, and to help one another. We light our red candle to mourn Black lives taken by police violence, to proclaim that Black lives matter, and to express our commitment to Black liberation, reparations, and the end of slave capitalism. And now we have the choir singing the first hymn, What Wondrous Love. What wondrous love. Now our responsive reading. I believe that we're going to be led by Darlene.
So since I can't see what's going on that you can see, I'm just going to get started. This responsive reading is We Bid You Welcome. Okay. We bid you welcome, who come with weary spirit seeking rest. come with troubles that are much with you, who come hurt and afraid. We bid you welcome, who come with hope in your heart. Come proud and joyous. We bid you welcome, who are seekers of a new faith. We bid you welcome, who enter this hall as a homecoming. Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are on your journey, we bid you welcome.
Now for our meditation. In a moment, I'll sound a chime to lead us into our time of silent meditation. Please get comfortable and follow your breath to your inner stillness. I will ring the chime a second time at the end of 2 minutes. I don't have a clock, though. The sun is in my eyes. You tell me 2 minutes, Margaret. Everybody quiet? The ritual of joys and sorrows is a time for each of us to share what is in our hearts this week and ask for community prayers and support. Each week we lay out a book on your left that you are welcome to write in about your joys and sorrows. And if I get it over here, I'll read it.
There's none today, Tom.
I'm sorry?
There are none announcements in the book today.
Nothing, okay. And do we have anything on Zoom? No. And now is the time we say aloud the names of anyone we want to send support and loving energy to. Please say the names. And now we move on to the silent part of our morning ritual. It's the healing ritual with water and stones. For anything that is in our hearts that we wish to bring into community, but is perhaps too sensitive to speak aloud, we have a symbolic action that you can take. You can walk down the middle aisle, choose a stone or stones, and immerse it in the water, which represents us, our community. Today's meditation song comes from the Buddhist tradition and is found in the order of service. Please join us in singing. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to start it, but may I be safe, may I be well, may I know joy, may I be free. May you be safe, may you be well, may you know joy, may you be free. May they be safe, may they be well. May they know joy. May they be free. May all be safe. May all be well. May all know joy. May all be free. And now let's join the choir in singing Somos el Barco.
Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. The stream sings it to the river sings it to the sea sings it to the boat that carries you and me. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. The boat we are sailing in was built by many hands. The sea we are sailing on, it touches every land. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. So with our hopes we set the sails and face the winds once more. And with our hearts we chart the waters that never sailed before. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail to you, you sail to me.
And now Darlene will give us her message.
I do bring greetings from the Live Oak UU Fellowship in Alameda. Your fellowship has been a model for us for at least 16 years now. When I was speaking with our children about the many U's of our faith, I gave them in a nutshell a definition of universalism. We are all loved. Early Universalists probably didn't express it exactly that same way. It was 1779 after all. They looked at that particular revelation as coming from the idea that God, being all-powerful, would, of course, be all good and all loving. Universalism as a church comes out of the long generalized belief within Christianity that God wishes all people to be united in harmony with him. Sin, therefore, is the name of any cause of disunity, disharmony, or of any distance of the people from God. To counter this distance, to counter sin, God gave Christ to the world to serve as the necessary sacrifice and atonement for human sin, thus Easter, by the way, and to teach people how better to live life closer to and pleasing to God. Christ becomes the instrument for harmony. Universalism continued to develop this theological insight of the desire of God to be united in harmony with people. I put it in some of your literature that this was to be a talk about our one of our theological, the theological backing of one of our merging Christian congregations, denominations, that has created Unitarian Universalism as a religious movement. So in case anybody was wondering what the heck is she going to be talking about, it is the history, the development of our Unitarian, excuse me, we always say that, don't we? It's always Unitarian. Our Universalist sister in the merger. Other Christian faiths, this is after united in harmony with God, other Christian faiths, however, Catholic and Protestant alike, in that equation tended to focus on sin, the actions that distance people from God, and how sin displeased God, and how displeasure, since it's God's, would surely be expressed by wrath and vengeance against those who sinned. Universalists explored a different point of view. For God so loved the world, begins the verse of John 3:16. That verse is among the most quoted in all of Protestant evangelism and goes on to say that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him, the Son, should not perish, but have eternal life. A common outcome from this prescriptive verse is to have the energies of religious denominations focus on declarations of belief in Christ. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And focus on what behaviors the denomination believes are necessary as proof of the continuation of that belief. Churches often define themselves by their doctrines that delineate and police those behaviors. The promise of eternal life became contingent in their eyes on the proper profession of belief, their creedal statement. And Unitarian Universalism has no creed. Then, of course, there are denominations not evangelical, but still focused on the promise and the formula of John 3:16. Those we largely think of as the Reformation churches, with their theologies defining their differences. And at the time of them making a difference, they were separating largely from the Roman Catholic Church. I'll speak here specifically about the faith brought by the Pilgrims, the Puritans, that was the defining religion of early America, and that was Calvinism. Calvin did not think that God so loved the world. Calvin projected a stern, demanding, and judging God who is deeply angered by sin. This God does not desire unity and harmony with all of his creation, but only with his pre-chosen elect, those chosen to populate heaven upon their death, those chosen even before any human being existed, so believe the Calvinists. And it was a secret list of chosen. God, oh, wait a minute. And it was a secret list, okay. While everyone was pressured to live in complete piety, and by that I mean belief, a point of view that is accepted with unthinking conventional reverence, that's piety. One did not find out if they were one of the elect until after they had died. All the diligence of their earthly life made no difference as to whether one had been pre-selected, but one still owed that diligence to God nevertheless. Calvinism gives us the concept of grace, not deeds, as salvation, as the form by which salvation is derived, that humans are saved from damnation solely by the grace, the selection of God, not by the deeds we may do. Unfortunately, in Calvinism, God's grace is limited only to the elect, the number of which only God knows, that salvation from sin is given only by God's selection. Universalists had a completely different understanding. Their God grants that grace, that saving grace, to all people over all time and in all circumstances. To them, grace is not God's choosing, but God's granting. Taking the understanding that Christ's sacrifice redeemed all human sin, which they do, they don't have any problem with that grace granting salvation from damnation to hell. Universalists accept the scripture as stated in John 3:16. They believe that God has universally granted redemption of all human sin, all of it, for everybody, universally. And that's why they were so named, not necessarily by themselves, but that they were called Universalists by disapproving others. We, both sides of our family know that. In 1779, as a matter of fact, they were organized as the Independent Church of Christ. It was so similarly, yes, for Unitarians. Unitarians didn't call themselves Unitarian. They were called that by others as criticism, and then they took up the term and made it their own identity. Universalism tends towards the mystical realm, focusing on love and union between God and all creation, on the blessings of grace, and on the safety and security of their redemption. Universalism offers this gift an experience of transcendence and an emotional connection with the divine, and that emotion is not fear. Universalism arose out of loving connection. This personal experience led to the Universalist Church having a highly individualist membership, one not prone to centralization of authority. The early church of the 1770s to about 1840 also favored clergy that were examples of passion of spirit rather than prestigious theological school diplomas. Universalism appealed largely to what were then called the humbler classes and was a source of dignity and self-esteem for them. And with their elimination of their own damnation to hell, well, that was the end of hell. And with that elimination of their, okay, that was the end of hell. Okay, that's right. Flying in the face of all other Western Christian theologies, no hell. That earned them another name, and that name was heretic. This no hell line of thinking is to this day a heretical act. Even the idea that God loves all of the human family is a problem for some. Do you know the story of Carlton Pearson, the bishop of a 6,000-member megachurch? U.S., of course, a Pentecostal megachurch in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This African-American preacher in 2007 brought to his congregation a new understanding that he was feeling called to, and his understanding of God as reconciliation and inclusion. Now, the man already had the most fully racially integrated church probably in all of North America, but he still thought that they could go a lot further in practicing inclusion. Also coming to him out of this revelation, he was beginning to understand was the message, so therefore, God would never have created hell. There's no way to tell you quickly what happened next, so let me just summarize with these phrases. Kicked off the board of Oral Roberts University, which was his own alma mater. Excommunicated by the Council of African American Pentecostal Ministers. His own ministerial staff, who were white, left him to form a new church in which seemingly their black coat congregants were not invited to come along. And then finally fired by his own megachurch. And why? He had said that God would never damn any of us and couldn't possibly send to hell, as the divine would never have created a place of eternal torment and banishment. And that alone proved he was a heretic. And it just may be that Pentecostalists have a more vivid vision of hell than most other denominations, or have a stronger need to moderate their behavior through the threat of damnation. But in any case, almost none wanted to give up hell, couldn't give up their certainty of hell, so they suddenly were completely sure that what their pastor had revealed, proved he was a heretic. And they all said he should be punished as one. And this was, did I say, 2007. Now, how is it that I know that story? Well, there's a little bit more that went on. There's a UU church in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it happens to be the largest member UU congregation in North America. And the minister at All Souls UU, their name, heard about what was happening to Reverend Pearson right there in Tulsa. They were both there. And as he got the fuller story and heard about Pearson's gospel of inclusion, he realized that Pearson had stumbled perhaps, across classic Universalism. So he reached out to him, the Tulsa UU minister, to Reverend Pearson, and said, hey, we already know about Universalism too, and we agree with you. There is no hell. The punchline of that whole synopsis is that Reverend Pearson and his last 250 hardcore followers found a new home at All Souls Unitarian Universalist in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And they have, in turn, that new influx, become a major source of change and the challenge of inclusion in the life of that UU congregation. And I recommend that you Google that story. It was covered extensively in the UU World magazine. So, well then, how can people know right from wrong? This is the objection to universalism. It's asked, how will we behave well instead of badly if there are no harsh consequences to face? What's the point of being saved if God has already saved everybody? It frequently shocks a certain sense of, that's not fair, if you are asked to consider that is fairness. Universalism does not preclude ethical values or standards, nor abandon all consequences for breaching those standards, but it does preclude using God as your societal big stick to punish people. So, how does universalism become the basis for a universalist church denomination? And how did that church eventually merge with the Unitarians? That's another long story. Try to do it briefly. Actually, it's a 130-year-long story of the yous and the yous dancing back and forth about their similarities and their differences. Now, 130 years of talking and debating about merger. So we were fundamentally similar people in our attitudes, and we each were very protective of our specific heresies, both sides having faced that. First of all, these two heretical Christian denominations became so successful with their theological insights that they put themselves into decline. They achieved a success that nearly wiped them both out. Their ideas were slowly and sometimes piecemeal accepted and absorbed by other Christian churches. Not all, but some. For one idea, a completely loving God who is parental in care and devotion to its children, has been a huge success for universalism, because Reformation era churches focused very much on a demanding, cruel, angry, jealous, vengeful God. Inclusion in salvation, another idea, included in all salvation, not limited by predetermination. That was another big win. The worth and dignity of all peoples. That was so bedrock for both of the U's that we have taken it to be our principle number one. In other words, if your theology has now become incorporated into so many other Christian denominations, why would anyone necessarily seek you out special? You can have it in your own home place. This experience of being successful in your ideas is one I have a lot of secular experience with. I spent more than 25 years of my life working in and running independent bookstores. 16 of those years in politically focused bookstores, and 13 of those 16 years in 2 feminist bookstores in the Bay Area. I have lived my dream job. Starting in 1976, I was part of seeking out and finding and championing books by women. Especially, I was looking for feminist women. I worked with publishers, I supported writers, and I helped found distribution channels to get these and more and more and more appropriate books into our stores. And we, in the feminist bookstores, were successful in that endeavor. The 113 feminist bookstores of the 1980s were a catalyst, creating a market and encouraging the demand for this literature. And publishers noted and finally responded. And so did every other outlet for books in the country. Those stores, newsstands, and catalogs noted the demand, and they worked hard to meet it too, once it was underway. We were all successful in this endeavor, so successful that feminist bookstores were no longer the vital and nearly exclusive link for publishers and readers to find those writers. Books by women, feminist books, were no longer specialty items. They were mainstream. However, that meant specialty stores were no longer needed. As freestanding, independent, and small stores, ours, as well as gay and lesbian stores and radical political ones, closed during the early development of online selling. Currently, there are 15 feminist bookstores in America, and that's up from 4 in 2010. And so it was with the Universalists. They dwindled because of their theological success. Our UU association is marked by other Universalist successes ourselves. And this is from on the UUA website. From its beginning, Universalism challenged its members to reach out and embrace people whom society often marginalized. The Universalists believed in a God who embraced everyone, and this eventually became central to their belief that lasting truth is found in all religions, and that dignity and worth are innate to all people, regardless of sex, color, race, or class. And if you read the principles of the UUA, which has now been since advanced, but for most of the last 24 years, the 7 principles and the 6 sources, if you remember that, the first 3 principles of Unitarian Universalism say those 3 principles that Universalism brought to the mix. The Universalist Church had political successes as well. They challenged and won the first separation of church and state court decision when they sued to abolish the standing order. The standing order was a set of laws levying taxes collected to fund the official state church and not fund any other. And at that time, those official state churches were the Congregationalists, who were the Calvinists of the day. Well, Presbyterians too, but in this case it was the Congregationalists. They almost single-handedly began the movement to stop the death penalty. At that time, it was almost exclusively carried out by hanging. Their thought: God was not vengeful, and neither should his children be. They were deeply involved in prison reform and the injustices of the criminal codes, work that is fairly recently coming back around to the notice of our congregations. They were not mainstream abolitionists. They were abolitionists, but they were not welcome in the mainstream groups because they refused to condemn slaveholders as evil people and irredeemable monsters. Their abolition work was rejected by all the large and national abolitionist groups. As a matter of fact, they were banned from belonging to those groups. So they had to create their own groups for their abolitionist work, which they did. They were champions of labor, having themselves arisen from the humbler social classes. And those are air quotes you just heard. They opposed the poorhouse as another form of prison. Their most notable successes in society were in the opening of gender roles and the inclusion of people of color as equal members of their church. Since your calling to universalism, they believed, was by passion of spirit, people of color who felt that spirit were welcomed equally as members. In the very first Unitarian church, built in 1780, one of the 31 signing members, who included women as well as men, was one known to have been a former slave. His name was Gloucester Dalton. The first woman minister in an American denomination was Olympia Brown, and she was ordained a Universalist minister. She also was the first woman to have graduated from a theology school, and it was a Universalist theology school. But let's admit, though, that when she finally got herself in, the men did make it very difficult on her to have done so. So, not saying perfection was reached. One little aside about Olympia Brown, and I do love her. When she married, she kept her maiden name, which had never before been legally done in the United States. Universalism held that overcoming injustice and neglect in this world was central to their religion. They already knew heaven was theirs, So they were not, thank you. I'll repeat that sentence because I really like it. They already knew heaven was theirs, so they were not seeking to improve their chances by doing good deeds. Rather, they were trying to emulate that aspect of God that showed unfailing pity and ultimate forgiveness for all. 18th and 19th century phrasing, but they meant it deeply. They believed that their church was meant to create an impetus to the individual to act out their faith. It was not easy overall to be a Universalist. The personal love by God of you as an individual and the showering of grace and salvation upon you just because you were a child of God, that was the easy part, the appealing part. But the flip side of that statement slammed into the prevailing orthodoxies of the day, both religious and secular. That was harder to accept and infinitely harder to live out. If there is no hell and everyone is beloved by God, how could you be assured that those who harmed others would receive appropriate consequences? And if they, the harming ones, if they escaped punishment in this life, then you had no proof that they could still suffer consequences after. When we are harmed or offended in our little human ways, who does not find it unfair if justice is not done? The justice, of course, that we want done. How are we to feel that we are special and theologically correct if everyone is getting the same eternal reward as we are? And that's the flip side of the same earlier, but it's not fair. So the hard part is giving up our own personal or petty grievances and our self-centered demand. That's the trade-off you get for being the beloved of God. So they preached. They leave us the first three of our 7 UU principles. The one about inherent worth and dignity, the one about justice, equality, and compassion, and the one about acceptance of one another, particularly focused on this aspect of their theology. And it is still a touchstone for our faith. The challenge of universalism is accepting that if you are loved, then so are they. We are each equally the special beloved of God. Thank you.
Thank you, Darlene, for your wonderful words. Now is the time when we share our responsibility for the home which we are creating together. Our share plate partner for April is World Central Christian. WCK is first to the front lines, providing fresh meals in response to humanitarian, climate, and community crises. In 2010, Chef Jose Andres, ready to use his culinary knowledge and talent to help, headed to Haiti following a devastating earthquake. I was there in 2010. Cooking alongside displaced families in a camp, he was guided on the proper way to cook black beans, the way the Haitians like to eat them, mashed and sieved into a creamy sauce. It wasn't just about feeding people in need. It was about listening, learning, and cooking side by side with the people impacted by the crisis. This is the real meaning of comfort food, and it's the core value that Jose, along with his wife Patricia, used at the center of founding World Central Kitchen, WCK. For the offertory, Tom Rudderow will bring us one of his original songs.
Here we go. Thank you. Wow, I'm having a lot of flashbacks with this service. I grew up in the Christian church, and I was always jealous of people that I met that were UU. Like growing up UU. So I have grown up with the fear of hell in my bones, and it's taken me many years to release that. And I had an experience when I was about 12, and I just tried to be a Christian, but nothing ever worked. But I had heard a voice, and the voice said, there's got to be something more than this. And it was just such an affirmative voice that it took away my attempt to get over the fears, I think. It took that away until I was 19, and I did some chemicals, some psychedelic stuff, and realized there is something more than this. And that put me on a spiritual path, and here we are, still trying to find that. So this is called Something More. I felt all my life we are something more than we seem to be. They said after life we will open the door, then it will become clear. But what point is life if we stand at the shore longing to be free? It's not over there, explore no more, heaven is here. We'll find a way to the mystical ocean. We'll find the way to be free. We'll find the way, though our heart has been broken. We'll find the way to divine destiny. They tried to say there's only one way to know truth. There'll come a day when no longer try sway, each one see all sincere. Truth is the way, it'll guide our pathway to it. Each step toward truth increases our care. Display this day, heaven is here. We'll know the way to the mystical ocean. We'll know the way to be free. We'll know the way, though our hearts have been broken. We'll know the way to divine destiny. Oh, we can't go alone, only together go. We're all bodhisattvas, we'll together grow. Follow our path, in the end we will know what each has seen along the way. We'll merge with each other, acknowledge divine. Within our uniqueness, leave difference behind. We'll be the universe seeking to be kind, joining itself in us along the way. Come on, Annie. said, mountains move, the things holding us back from the life we could live. We could live in love, releasing the lack that grows out of our fear faced with love, like the darkness attacking the sunlight. Forgive ourselves with a prayer, no more lack, we're back, heaven is here. We'll be the way to the mystical ocean. We'll be the way to be free. We'll be the way, though our harbor has been broken. We'll be the way, we'll be divine destiny. Oh, we can't go alone, only together go. We're all bodhisattvas, together grow. Follow our path at the end, we will know what each has seen along the way. We'll merge with each other, acknowledge divine within our uniqueness, leave behind. We'll be the universe seeking to be kind, joining itself in us along the way. Oh, 'cause we are the way to the mystical ocean. We are the way to be free. We are the way. Now our hearts have been opened. We are the way. We are divine destiny. I felt all my life we are something more. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Tom. Let us dedicate our offerings. To the work of this fellowship, which is creating beloved community within and beyond these walls, we dedicate ourselves and these our offerings. And please join the choir in singing All the Good People by Ken Hicks.
It's very Easter Monday. It's true.
For all the good rabbits. Okay, here we go. This is a song for all the good people, all the good people who touched up my life. This is a song for all the good people, people I'm thanking my stars for tonight. This is a verse for all of the heroes who followed their values and did what they could. With words and with deeds, filled wants and filled needs. They helped and they showed us the way to do good. This is a verse for pickers and singers whose tunes and whose voices have blended with mine. Of backstops and stages where love and for wages is one love of giving and some kind of fight. This is a song for all the good people, all the good people that touch up my lives. Some help in small ways,
Let's see, on my screen, it says I'm supposed to be getting people introducing themselves, but I've been asked to have this as announcements, and thanks.
Thanks, Tom. Hi, everybody. Let's see, announcements. This Thursday is Games Night. It's our second one we've done. And we have people from Sunday Assembly, the neighbor across the street, people from those other places where I forget the name of it. Meetup, thank you. Someone with a memory. And others and also there was a group that met at the library right when COVID started or right after COVID. And that group, so we had about 6 people here. It was a lot of fun, non-competitive, kind of just like hanging out and doing silly games. So if that sounds like you, or you want to check it out, that's Thursday at 6 o'clock. We'll go from 6 to 7:30, so you can get home in time to have dinner. And now, Jillian's going to say a few words. Thank you, Jillian.
Yeah, it was fun. I learned some new games. So I'm here because you should all have received through your email from BFUU. I do hope that you all open every email that you get from BFUU. There was one about a survey about what time to start the service, and we have extended the time. It was supposed to be in by tomorrow, I think, but we extended the time by 2 weeks. And the question is, would it be okay with you if we started the service at 11 o'clock instead of 10:30? And one of the main reasons for it is that our choir has very little time to rehearse, right? So they have to scramble and get here early before the rest of us to have a little time to practice and get things set up. And we would like feedback from all of you, whether it would make a difference to you coming on a Sunday morning if we were starting at 11 instead of 10:30, or whether you think that's a great idea. I personally think it's a great idea, depending on what you did on Saturday, right? But anyway, so please, I think that we might even, do we have hard copies somewhere? Over there. Well, if we can find them. We did actually have them on paper for people to fill out, and somehow, sorry, we overlooked putting them on your chairs last week, so now we'll have to find them. But you did get an email from Anders about that. So please, just remember, within the next week, could you please answer that survey? Thank you.
I'm going to take the responsibility of making another announcement. I've announced this already, and I've passed out flyers. The Haiti program that I still monitor, and we have $31,000 to raise. We only have $660 now. It's been a bad year. It's Hope for Haiti Education Ministry on April 18th, just 2 weeks from Saturday. April 18th, the Spring Festival. It will be an experience of Haitian music, dancing, drumming, and community. Enjoy us, if you can, by buying a ticket. The tickets are $35, or you can donate whatever you want to. But I would like to get something from BFUU. Okay. Oh, it's going to be at St. Columba Hall in, it's in Oakland, but at the end of Alcatraz and San Pablo. And it starts at 6 o'clock, goes to 9. And anybody who wants to know can ask me more details. Okay. Are there any new people here? If there is, I can't see everybody. Stand up and introduce yourself. Or you don't have to. We won't punish you. Okay. And our Zoomers are okay?
Yeah, our Zoomers today are Ben Birch, Bill Balderson, Jean Lieber, Lisa and John, Marge Turngren, Melissa R., and Simone.
Yay. We miss you. Please check your order of service and or an email newsletter for the announcements that you should be getting. Next week we will have There's a Light in You. There's a Light in You by guest speaker Bob Reed. What is it you need when you are awake at 3 a.m. and your mind is racing? What can you recall when you need that grounding for your wind-blown worries? Maybe this is it. Perhaps here is something which will help when you struggle with those with whom you disagree. Try it. We will have both Bob and his Judy Jager as guest musicians, so it should be a good time for everybody. Okay, we're now going to extinguish our chalice fires, and everybody at home as well. We extinguish the flame of this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, or the energy of service. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. Thank you for joining us today, everybody. After the service, you're welcome to stay and enjoy community. We'll be having a light lunch. And so now for our final circle, please form a circle around the hall and join us in singing Circle Round for Freedom.
Check 1, 2.
Freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us in prison, for release, to go for the planet, circle for each soul, children of our children, keep the circle whole.
So first, I just want to point out that we did find the survey. So there are copies floating around. If you haven't voted online, you can fill out a paper one and hand it in. And just thank everyone for coming, and I appreciate the message from Darlene and Tom that all of us here are special, and we're all special together.
Yay.